Eric Muadh, Muadh.com. In the previous video, I forgot to mention that Google was showing other sell signals. For example, you can take a look at this previous break in December. That break brought the market off the highs there for a slight pullback. Would come back to test the same break level and fail in December, and we can draw a line from there. The line so happens to be at about 61.8. So resistance there with uniform activity gave you that high, and then we see resistance again with uniform activity gave us that high over the last 2 days. And also we are having a substantial drop today. Why? Because the daily RSI is moving below 50. As I always say, once you're moving above 50, you get a good move. For example, here you got this nice move, but when you're moving below 50, you get to have a plunge, and that's exactly what's taking place today. There's another stock also doing almost something similar, and it is Facebook. Now Facebook, you can see here, made a slight higher high to all-time daily closing highs, and again we see another instant of negative divergence. If you take the highs on the daily RSI, the stock has come back to test the top side of the RSI channel. It's hit that. It also is showing resistance at 69.1, which is right there. Also we see that it is coming back to test the previous break level. So if you take this break off the highs of November, so this high brought the market off the highs here in 107, 108 range, 110 range, and would drop all the way to 90. If you draw a line from the break point there, now we can see that this is uniform activity above the red line and back below it, which generally tends to be a sell signal. Take a look at the weekly, and we can also see that the weekly right now is showing negative divergence, something we discussed this past weekend. You have an improvement in the price on the weekly standpoint, while we are looking at the RSI confirming resistance on the top side right there. That negative divergence could be a problem. In other words, what is holding the stock together is, as long as it is holding above the previous weekly closing high at 107.32, if it can hold above that and stay above 107.32, which is the previous weekly closing high, the stock might have a chance of moving high. As we discussed earlier, before this week, we can see that if it drops back below 107.32, it's a failed breakout, confirming resistance here on the top side, and also resistance on the previous break level on the weekly. So there's a break point here. If we draw a line from there, the more the stock is confirming this as resistance, the more this is going to be a multi-week, multi-month high. Probably might be a while before the stock can test the highs above 116, 117. Eric Muadh, Muadh.com. As always, keep you guys posted. Good luck, peace, and blessings. EACS.